ahead.
Okay, I call this meeting of the Architectural Review Board to order for Wednesday, September 16th, 2020. So can we have a roll call, please?
Schneider, Larson,
Here.
King,
Here.
Utz, Corral.
Here.
All right, will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so first we have citizens' time. Would anyone like to address the Architectural Review Board for citizens' time? This would be anybody who doesn't have a presentation, and I don't see anybody.
There's no one on Zoom and there's been no email.
Okay, perfect. Okay, are there any corrections or additions to the minutes from last meeting? And I did not see any, and I guess Susie or Aish, any?
No, I don't think I saw anything.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes for Architecture Review Board meeting Wednesday, August 19, 2020.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion carries. Okay, so our agenda items tonight are to review the ZP 2020-013 front porch covering for 6892 Jockey Cub Lane, review ARB guidelines update, review the town gateway and monument signs, and review the town love sign.
Give me just 1 second, I'm loading the agenda. Sorry about that. Okay, so our first up is ZP 2020-013 for front porch on 6892 Jockey Club Lane. So you will find my report on package page 5. So what I did is I went through what the applicant is requesting. So this is the addition of a front porch covering over the stoop. I break it down in the town planner assessment. I do not have any concerns with this application. All of the materials are going to meet the existing home structure. The Green Hill Crossing HOA has approved it. And for a photo of what it's going to look like, you have existing conditions are on page 10, as well as page 11. That's the entirety of the house. And then if you go to page 17 and 18, you'll have the drawing rendering here. And again, the shingles will match the existing shingles of the home. And then you have the 2 columns out front. So the applicant is here tonight to answer any questions that you guys may have regarding the application. Otherwise, I have no concerns with it, and I do recommend approval.
Okay. I don't have any questions. I'm familiar with your house, not because I went to look, but I live in Green Hill Crossing, so I recognize the house, and I could see how the front porch would certainly add value. And if it's approved by the HOA, then I would have no concerns about approving as well.
Okay. Ayush, Susie, any questions?
The columns, are they going to be white? Yes. Okay, yeah. That's fine. Yeah, I have no other concerns.
I have no concerns or questions.
Okay. If there's no other questions, on packet page 8, there is a draft motion that can be stated.
Okay.
Go back to it.
So I move the board approve COA ZP 2020-013 for the expansion of the front porch at 6892 Jockey Cub Lane as presented in the application.
Second.
Okay. You can do it all in favor.
Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So it's been approved. I'll follow up with an email and all the approvals that are needed, and you're good to go. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Okay. Our next agenda item, I was expecting a full board tonight, so this one I'm just kind of going to prep you guys for. Ayush has been along with us now. He knows we've been desperately trying to work on the guidelines for the ARB. We got our bylaws done, so now we want to keep moving forward and look at updating our guidelines. So if you guys have time, maybe over the next month, if you can kind of read through them, see what parts make sense, what parts don't make sense. I know there's a couple areas in there that, just in layman terms, when you read them, some of our residents kind of struggle with some of the verbiage, and I think we could clean it up and just make it easier for them. So that's one thing we will bring back up, hopefully right there in October, and we can keep that moving. Again, the town gateway and monument signs, this is also something we've been trying to work for many years, long before I even started here. So we finally got to a design idea with our previous board members. Back when Vaughn Cavazos served on the board, she helped us a lot with one of the final design sketches. So I will have this prepared to present to you guys at the October meeting. One of the things that we need to do is we need to work with council, so work with the liaison, Marchant, to start figuring out our funding. But we really want to narrow down which ones are our priority. So is it going to be the smaller gateway signs on Jefferson, or is it going to be the larger monument signs? But again, I will bring all of that to you guys in October. And then the town love sign. This one we can certainly talk about a bit, because I think you guys are all familiar, and right before the meeting there was interest in discussing it. So originally we wanted to do a love sign up at the park. So if you guys are all familiar with Virginia love signs, they're great for tourism. They bring a lot of people in because people want to find them and take pictures with them. And so Chris and I have been talking. Previously we wanted to get a permanent one put in place. I had worked with the board in previous years to design what each letter would be. We never finalized it. But now Chris had mentioned an idea of doing one that can be changed out. So you can get the white letters. You can actually apply for a grant, and I think it's about $1,500 grant just to get the plain white one. Then that way we can hold contests, competitions, what have you, to let other people design them. Then we can do like vinyl decal, or there's sign companies out there that can wrap cars. I'm sure they could wrap some letters for us, but we could work with the community to kind of have an ever-changing sign. I think this would be interesting to bring new people in, but also you take a photo with it once, do you need a photo again? But if it's something that's cool, or kids, maybe one year we hold a high school competition, and the high schooler wins. They want all their friends, their family to come see what they design. So I think we're continuously bringing people in. And it's also an opportunity that if they're not permanent in that one location, we can move them. So it could be moved down to the museum. We have that little pocket park. I think that would be a great thing to have when the hotel opens, because it's going to get people who are coming in for the weekend, who aren't familiar with our area, over to the museum property or down to the park. So if you guys have any ideas, we can kind of toss them out there and talk about it, and then I can bring back a more firm detail to get approved.
So you said if we have the white letters, then we can just kind of put like a skin on them?
Yeah.
And change, and that would be interchangeable.
Yeah, that was one of the things we had talked about, because in that way, some of the localities I've seen, they design them, and for an example, some of the wineries, they do them in all cork. And so it looks very cool, it's fitting for their display, and maybe they don't want to change it. But I think where we have a rich history in our area, that one year we might want it to be all about our historic structures. Or, you know, maybe we take a deep dive into what our history was back in the early 1900s, and we take some kind of artifact or something from our buildings, and we can put it into a design, and then that way we could get them like vinyl wrapped. It should hold up to the weather. I mean, that's something we'd have to research, but then it can be changed out, you know, as long as it's cost effective.
Or it could just stay white too,
Yep,
even.
or it could
Yeah.
just stay white.
That's cool.
Or we could always see if there's like, I know Mariah's put in the red one.
Mm-hmm.
We can see about doing, you know, is there a red one that we can put in as our base, and then you cover it when you want to cover it, or you don't cover it when you don't want to.
Yeah, I like having the option of being able to change it. So I know one of the things that I think is cool that the town does is recognize different events or times of the year. So you've got gold ribbons in town now,
Yeah.
you know, holidays, or Memorial Day. So at least if you had the opportunity to support, like if it's Autism Month and you wanted to make it, I think, is that purple?
I think so.
You know, at least you would have the ability to do that. And then to your point, you could wrap in historic ideas. You could run a contest, like one contest a year, to involve the community. I mean, there's so many different things you could do with it if you
Yeah.
have it
I
white.
think that's cool.
Yeah. I guess, I would be curious if we were gonna change the design often, like what would that look like in terms of cost? Like how would we, how much does the vinyl wrap cost? How
Okay.
easy is it to take on and off? Is it reusable?
Is it just the front? Is it all the way around
Right.
the 3D letter? Because then that could change it significantly on the cost, whereas if
Right.
it's just the front of the letters.
It's also whether or not we can do it ourselves once it's
Right.
done, right? So if it's, so something like, say, February, which would be like, say, Valentine's or
Right.
breast cancer aware, I think, no, that's
That's
October.
October, no, Black History Month is February. But, you know, something along those lines where, you know, it's one of those things where we can reuse, but at the same time, you know, like,
Right.
Yeah.
you can, they're interchangeable, right? Like, there are things that we can do with them. Where some might be reusable, like, so for October or Christmas, right? Those, I think, so I think it's a matter of like, how often, the question is, how often do we change them? Can we change them ourselves, to lower the cost? So I guess that just factors into the cost, and ease, and, I guess if we were to do like, you know, when you do custom designs, those can get expensive. So I guess the question is like, if we were to do like a graphic design contest type deal, then like, what would be the cost of, like, even if we do one every year, what would be like the running cost of having it created and, you know, not used again, right? Because I doubt if we do just, if we were to do one yearly, we're trying to keep it pretty fresh, so.
Right. And it could be, if we were, I guess, depending on the cost, we could also look to, like, sponsorships from, you know, businesses in the town. You know, if they wanted to sponsor a contest, or if they had a particular design that they wanted to support, like to, you know, breast cancer awareness, and then they get, maybe we can have a small lighted sign that would go by that's, you know, this sign's, today's design sponsored by,
Chuck K. Kevin.
yeah, yeah, something along those
Right.
lines. But, and I think it would be cool to be able to move it too, to your point, you know, for Haymarket Day, or the tree lighting, or if there's something, in the museum, it would be cute to have that there.
I think to that extent, I mean, I don't know what the logistics of this would be, but like, if, say, is sponsored by Cupcake Heaven, then like the possibility of bringing it to their property and showing it off on their property for a little bit to show
Yeah.
that it's sponsored by them, and it's, you know, it'd be kind of
That's
cool.
a good idea too,
Yeah.
yeah. Kind of have it moving
Mhm.
through.
Yeah.
Okay, I will pull these items together with Chris, and we'll bring you back some more information. And maybe we design our first one. Yeah, keep it fun. So that's all I have for the agenda items, unless you guys have questions about either the guidelines or the gateway monument signs.
You're not?
Okay. So, new business. I'm gonna pass this around. This is just a little photo. This is our approved 2020 Christmas ornament that's gonna go out. So we're very excited about it. It is the McCormick House, so it's over on Fayette Street. It's the log cabin that did not burn down in the Civil War. It is Miss Cavasso's house. that they have poured a lot of love into, keeping it very historic in nature. So we're very excited about that. It'll go out as well as a little historic brochure in it, and those will be for sale starting mid-October and should help us share the news. Very exciting. We also have the previous years, 2019 and 2018 as well. Other new business on Washington Street, so further down near Haymarket Baptist and the veterinarian clinic, there's a large open lot. That is 14850, 14860 Washington Street. Van Meter's coming in. Right now they're working on their site plan with the Planning Commission. They will be probably coming up, might not be October, might be November, for Architectural Review Board application discussion. So that's going to be the facades of the townhomes. It's going to be part of the commercial, and then the Carter School, which is a high-end educational facility, put it that way. I don't know exactly how they describe it, but they will be coming in separately to discuss their architecturals, and that will be a little bit later on. So that is kind of upcoming. That's all I have right now for new business. Are there any questions?
No.
Nope.
Old business, I am still working on the Pardo house, so that property was noted for blight. I did see that the plastic came down and so did the temporary power. I do not know the answer of why. That just came to my attention today, so I'm trying to get in touch with the property owner to get the answers, what's going on, if they're going to come back in and do work or what have you, but I will continue to give you guys updates on that. The hotel is putting up their temporary fencing. They will be breaking ground most likely next week. We will later on do an official groundbreaking, but for now, we're just going to kind of let them start doing their thing. So that'll be early next week. And for those of you who have noticed, we have our Jefferson Street project's been put on hold for a little bit. We had an issue with where the gas line was located and where the stormwater system needed to go in. So they did get the final approval they needed today. Now we're just waiting on scheduling, so fingers crossed, that's again early next week for that to start back up. And then once they start back up and do the work, we could be done as soon as 2 to 3 weeks. So it should be a pretty quick wrap up there. And also, I think that's all the old business I have for right now. Any questions on old business?
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Is the milling and the paving, that's not related to this
No,
project?
No, that's not related to this. So VDOT every 5 or 10 years, they do pavement scheduling, and then depending on the condition of your road is when you get scheduled. So last year they did Jefferson Street for us. This year, we were always scheduled to have this done. I'm happy that, in hindsight, we don't have Haymarket Day and it wasn't, right at the same time, but they should be done within a couple weeks here. It should not take too long. They were going all the way from Cat Harpin down to 15. I do think they go a little bit further on 15 as well.
Okay.
So yeah, they're going to continue their night work this week. So.
Okay. And then for a quick question on the hotel, on the
Okay.
groundbreaking. Is there any expected just traffic impact based on what's going to be happening in terms of the construction?
So at this time, no, I do not expect any traffic impacts. They will be utilizing a construction entrance off of Fayette Street.
Okay.
So all of Washington Street, you'll see there's several driveway curb cuts there, and there used to be some on Jefferson, and probably some on Payne. All of those disappear, and we only have one entrance and exit onto the property, and that's on Fayette Street, right behind our caboose. So we designed that with VDOT and the applicant to be the least impactful.
Okay.
But what happens usually is during construction, if there are dust issues, if there's noise issues, construction, what have you, if there are issues, I go and I speak directly with the project manager. We do what we can to mitigate it and make our citizens happy. So any complaints that you guys hear from any of your neighbors, if you guys have any concerns, please let me know. Whether it's phone call, email, stopping in, let us know, because we do want to take care of it, and they want to do the right thing as well, and be the least burdensome on the community.
Okay. That's why I asked about the milling, what, if that, I figured that was VDOT, because they've been staging in Green Hill Crossing, so there's a bit of chatter about them staging with their trucks in
Yeah.
Green Hill Crossing.
We've had some issues that, it's been going on a couple days now,
Yeah.
but we've had some issues. They parked their trucks on private property that were then getting fenced in. So I am happy to make a phone call on that, so we'll do that tomorrow. We'll touch base with them.
Okay. Yeah,
And I will-
I happened to see them this morning. It was fairly early.
Yeah, everything they're doing, I think it starts around 9 p.m. and goes to about 5 a.m., I think is their window of allowable time. And it's been a difficult project for them. I don't know why, but yes.
Okay.
So, okay. Any other questions for kind of old business stuff? I do have one quick planning commission update, if you don't mind. So I just wanted to let everybody know for our upcoming meeting on Monday night, we have a public hearing for a special use permit at 6611 Jefferson Street. That's over here across from Cupcake Heaven, and it is for a religious assembly use. That is in the rear of the building. It's a small church that's starting up who wants to be here in the town, so that will be one item. Our second item is a public hearing for QBE proffer amendment. The proffer amendment was previously advertised at a reduction from 4.51 acres to 2.06 acres. Later on, the application was amended to terminate the entirety of the proffer. So that would be from 4.51 to 0. This was discovered at our July meeting that there was a discrepancy in what we advertised versus what the applicant put before us. So we're re-advertising, and that'll be on Monday night. And then we also have Van Meter that'll be coming to Planning Commission to start the discussion on site plan. So if you guys have any questions on those items, or again, neighbors, anybody, just send them our way.
Okay.
Other than that, meetings on Monday. Don't think we've had a meeting since our last meeting and since the last update about the conversation we had about the Gainesville Technology Park, and that was just a general conversation, so no update since then. But I'll have an update for you next month after Monday's meeting. But if there's anything you guys want me to take back to the Planning Commission, I'm happy to do that.
And since Marchant is not here, I can do a quick town council update. They held their meeting on the 8th. They had discussed the IT proposal, CARES Act relief funding. Our clerk and our town treasurer and our police chief were reappointed, so congratulations, Kim. We also discussed the town council pay structure policy, the 2020 museum ornament. We also went through, of course, our liaison reports. If you guys ever have any questions, we do have designated liaisons aside from Marchant and Bob. We have our finance liaison and our police department liaisons, so be sure to reach out to them as well if you have anything. But that is about it. They also passed a resolution for, how many is it,
Disabled American veterans.
Disabled American Veterans 100th anniversary. Oh, and Mayor Lorson has started up his walks with the mayor. That is going to be on the second Saturdays of every month at 9 a.m. So please help us spread the word. Also, if you guys have anything to add to the newsletter, or if you have any ideas that you'd like to put out there, I'm going to be working on the newsletter next week so that we can get that out for October.
I would definitely put the ornament in there if that's, I would figure you have that in there.
Yes, we're going to start pre-orders, so if you have anybody who's interested, definitely let them know that we are going to do some bundle deals for the previous years and then this year, but we are doing pre-orders.
Do they only go back 2 years?
Yes,
Great,
we
okay.
started it in 2018. Yep.
Okay. I think we have,
I think you guys have them.
yeah,
I
I think we have
remember
one.
him buying them. So the first year was the town museum, and we had Santa and his reindeer and a snowman and Christmas wreath on it. And then last year's was St. Paul's, which was previously the district courthouse. So we are keeping with our historic theme, and we're going to work through some of our historic structures, and then as we get more of them done, we'll reconsider if we do historic place in town or what we do
St.
from there.
Paul's was the courthouse? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then at one point it was also an academy, and then they used it during the Civil War as a hospital.
Hospital, yeah.
And so there is some discussion of who's actually buried back there and some unmarked graves. So, yeah, another haunted tour place. Yep. Yep. So, and then the only other thing that I'll just mention, since the next meeting will be pretty close to it, we're going to do a small Halloween event for our community. So we're going to reach out to our HOAs, but our goal is, I've been working with Vice Mayor, our goal is to provide a small event where we can practice our social distancing, make it fun for the kids, maybe do a mask kind of competition, and whoever has the most fun mask, you know, make it fun for them, but give them an opportunity to do trick-or-treating, just in case, you know, communities aren't doing it this year. So we don't want people to miss out, so we're going to do that. Wegmans is going to come and bring a lot of pumpkins so that they can do pumpkin painting, and we're going to try to make it a good day. So that'll be on Halloween.
It's a Saturday, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So it'll be from 3 to 6, and we'll most likely do a rain or shine event. We'll kind of play it by ear as weather, you know, as we get closer and everything, but that's the plan.
Have you thought about like a trunk or treat?
That's what we're trying. One of the people I was gonna reach out to is Park Valley. I know they always do one, but
Yeah.
we're trying to also get our businesses involved so that, like, if there's a black and orange balloon in front of their place, the kids know that they could walk there, trick or treat, and, you know, get something. So that way they're at least kind of going to a couple places. But we're trying to coordinate. So if you have any ideas or you want to help plan it, always looking for volunteers.
I'd be happy to volunteer
Okay.
to help out.
Awesome. I will contact you. That I will. Yeah, that would be great.
Cool.
Cool. So that's all I have.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that emotion.
Okay.
I second that emotion. We're adjourned.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. We'll have to send Marshawn a text. 7:29.
Record time.
Record time.
All right, you're off.
This doesn't have to be an official, since we're done.